I became interested in space as a grown-up. In 2004, it was all over the news that somewhere in a desert in the US, some people had done the first private space flight, and I was like blown away because I thought space flight was only for governments. It used to be that way. So that started my interest as a grown-up, and then it was on a slow burner for many years. And then I started reading more about Peter Diamandis, who I found out was the guy behind the competition, the X Prize that did the first private space flight. And then, of course, I started reading about Elon Musk, and I became more and more inspired by his vision and Peter Diamandis' vision of humans living in space and making life multi-planetary. And I realized, okay, this is the next big thing for humanity. We have done almost all we could do here on Earth. Now we must expand into space. And then when I got more and more involved in the space community, I realized, okay, so space is not just for governments, it's not just for billionaires. Space is actually open for regular people without billions of dollars. Everyone can be involved in space. So that's my driving force now, to get more people involved in space. The idea behind Warp Space Program is to take the next step in space development. It used to be governments. It used to be that you had to be the president of the United States or the Secretary General of the Soviet Union to make space history. Or 20 years ago, you at least had to be a multi-billionaire to be able to do something in space. But now space is open for a lot of people. So the thinking behind Warp Space Program is to build a really big global community of people that are enthusiastic about space and want to donate small amounts of money, but especially get involved in different ways, spend your time in making space projects happen. So the long-term goal is to build a large community, and where we together find interesting space missions and together make them happen. We fund them and we invest our time and help out in different ways. So if we can build this into a really large community with hundreds of thousands and maybe millions of people, if we can do that, then we can fund really big space projects. And then you have a space program for the people and by the people. That used to be for superpowers, could be for anyone. And that's the fantastic thing about the world we're living in, with the internet, that making things like this possible. The goal behind Warp Institute is very humble. It's to make the future come sooner. We see so many positive things happening, often based out of research and science and new technology, and we want to make those things happen sooner. And of course, one very important development for humanity would be to live in space, not just have 10 people on a space station, not just 2 or 3 people going to the moon, but establishing humanity out in the solar system, on the moon, on Mars, on other moons, on large space stations. So make life in space come sooner. The reason why Warp is supporting Beyond Atlas is that I think it's the coolest space project out there now. Of course, what Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and the other guys and girls are doing is really, really cool. But this is regular people coming together to do a small space project, but very important, and to really lower the costs of space exploration. To go to an asteroid, you used to need a budget of $1 billion or more, and here maybe we can do it for $2 or $3 million. Okay, still a lot of money, but not compared to $1 billion or a couple of $1 billion. So And it's regular people that's doing this. It's not billionaires, it's not just people that have been involved in space, those people also, of course. But if we can succeed with this, go to the asteroid as the Beyond Atlas first mission is, and explore that asteroid, then we have lowered the cost of space exploration. Then we can do it again and again and again, explore a lot of asteroids, planets, for much, much lower costs. Of course, there will be much, much more exploration. And in the long run, that's what you need if people are supposed to live in space. Then we have to find the resources in space. And then it has to be much, much cheaper to find the resources and explore space. So it's a really, really cool project in itself, and it can have a long-term big effect on humanity. I think to make life multi-planetary, as Elon Musk says, is the next big step for humanity. Of course, when Neil Armstrong stepped out, took the first step out on the surface of the moon, that was, of course, a giant leap. But an even bigger leap would, of course, be to step out on Mars, and especially if we can colonize Mars, if we have a self-sustaining colony on Mars, that would be the biggest development in humanity's history. Nothing will be even close, because then we're not just a race that lives on one planet. Then we're a race who lives on two planets. That's completely different. Now everything is based on Earth, but if we live on several other planets, that's a totally entire different humanity that I want to see. I think we have always explored. We've always traveled the seas, and this is the next big thing for humanity. And I feel, to be a small part of that, it's very exciting. If we are supposed to live in space, it will be much too expensive to send everything up from Earth. Even if we lower costs of rocket launches, it will be too expensive to bring all the stuff we need from Earth. So the reason why you need to go to asteroids is, of course, to explore them and to find the resources to build stuff in space. And you find the resources on the asteroids. And today it's extremely expensive to go to asteroids. So if we can lower that cost, we can explore a lot of asteroids and find a lot of resources to build stuff in space. Maybe we will also find some minerals down the line that is very valuable, and we can bring them to Earth. But the basic goal here is to find resources to build things in space. That's the great thing about this. You as a person, you don't have to be a space engineer or a billionaire. If there's some billionaires out there that want to help, you're welcome, of course. Also engineers, but you don't have to. So the first thing you should do is, of course, go to our website and sign up. Then you can get involved in different ways. You can just follow this and learn and see how is a space project actually done, what is required. But you can also become a volunteer. We already have several volunteers that doing a number of different tasks. But a big task to get the crowdfunding going, to crowdfund Beyond Atlas, is to find all the space organizations in the world and contact them. So if you're part of a space organization already, a society or whatever, then please join us and become a volunteer and help us get in touch with that space organization, so they can send out information about this cool project to their community. We can combine all the different space communities out there and help each other, and then we can not just follow the news and be inspired, but we can also be part of doing space projects. We will do a lot of regular updates. We will do at least a monthly thing where we interview some of the people involved in the project. Also on the website and through a newsletter, you will get all the information from the space project, both the good things and the bad things. Because of course, when you're doing a space project with a tiny budget, it's really, really hard. And there's factors that you can't influence that affects you, and factors, of course, that you can affect that influence you. But we're gonna need to solve a lot of problems. Gonna be setbacks, and we're gonna inform you about everything, and not just inform you. You know, of course, you can read what the news we send out, but you can be a part of this. Actually, be one of the people doing this. Yeah, you can get your name in space forever. So if you sign up on the website, then we will, on the first mission, the space debris mission, the test mission for Beyond Atlas, that we're hoping to launch in 2019, then your name will be on that spacecraft together with all the other people in the community that have signed up. So you will go up in orbit and around Earth. And then we'll see, when we've done what we need to do to test the technology, maybe we'll, try to send it, escape Earth gravity, send it out to space, or keep it up there for a long while. So you're going to be able to point to the sky and tell your friends, I'm up there. Yes, we felt we need to organize a big space conference, a space summit, and not just for people already involved in space, because there are a ton of those conferences around, and they're great, but for people that is not involved yet in space, they're enthusiasts who want to be involved for this community, the Warp Space Program community. So we're going to bring in people from all the cool space companies, SpaceX and Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic and Made in Space, and talk to them what they're doing and how you can be involved in that. But of course, focus a lot on Beyond Atlas, and we're planning this space summit for 2020. So hopefully then we have the first space mission up there. We're going to look at some beautiful pictures of Earth and of space debris. And think of different ways that you can be involved in space. You can be involved in space by being in a space project where you send something to an asteroid, but you can also do a number of other things. Science fiction in itself is very, very important. You can make computer games. There's a ton of things that you can do, because space is no longer just for engineers or people like that. We need lots of those people, but we also need artists and writers and all different kinds of people. Especially if we're going to live out in space, then all parts of humanity has to be involved. So we will try to bring those things together in a space summit, a Warp Space Summit. Because you should invest time and money into this, because you will be part of making space history. And you can only make space history once, and now we're doing it. So be involved in this. You will learn a lot. You will have the most fun time of your entire life, and you can always, when you look back on your life, feel that I was a small part of making life multi-planetary. I actually did something, and I had a really fun time doing it.